totally forgot to pick this up, man. I got a baby pineapple, bro. Non-GMO, super healthy for you.
Bro, it doesn't even matter. There's no difference from a GMO one.
Dude, what are you talking about? This is way healthy.
Move.
Dude.
See?
What? Dude, where'd you... Dude, it doesn't matter. This is very...
Today I'll be talking about GMOs, or genetically modified organisms, with an insight on GE, or genetically engineered crops.
No, dude, this is bad. Dude, this is not... Just...
Guys, stop. What are you doing? Give me that. Dude, GMO's fine.
Dude,
I interviewed a biology teacher to ask him some questions about GMOs. So, why do you think other people have like stereotypes about GMOs?
I don't think they understand what a GMO is. GMO, if GMO is a genetically modified organism, it just means that we have manipulated the genes. We manipulate genes all the time. We do it with dogs, we do it with food, we do it with gardening things, we have purple trees. We have genetically altered or manipulated organisms for hundreds, if not thousands of years. We get great big horses and little tiny horses. So doing it with food, I don't know what the big deal is.
So like you said, like why do you think there's such a big controversy only over like genetically modified foods and not like there's some other genetically modified things like insulin or like you said animals? And
I think it's a lack of understanding. I don't think people understand what really a genetically modified organism is. A Maltipoo. You mix a Maltese and a poodle together and you have a genetically modified dog. It's not a pure breed poodle, it's not a pure breed Maltese. Now we have genetically altered it. We do the same thing. Brussels sprouts and cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower, they all come from the mustard seed plant. We have selectively bred for those traits that we like, and now we have something that is genetically altered. And we're okay with that, but now somebody says GMOs and it goes social media or it goes in the mass media, and now we have people that are uninformed or misinformed that are just jumping on a bandwagon saying that they're bad for us and they're going to do all this. I don't know if there's any studies that actually say that they're bad for us or that they have any adverse effects on humans at all.
Well, is there any closing comments you have on GMOs?
The only thing that I can think of that would add any validity to the argument is they're always worried that we'll have drug resistant or pest resistant or whatever resistant strains of wheat or rice or whatever that's going to take over the world and it's going to get out of hand and it's going to be an invasive species. Keep in mind, all of these GMOs that we're talking about food, we are selectively breeding, we are cultivating them, we are not letting them get out in the natural population that natural selection cannot attack or have an influence on. I don't know, I like corn. Seedless watermelons are pretty cool.
Yeah.
They taste good.
Sweet. Thank you. Humans have been genetically modifying plants for thousands of years. After thousands of years, almost every single plant and animal around us has completely changed and been modified by selective breeding. Selective breeding is hoping for lucky hits. Genetically engineering foods eliminates these factors. GM crops are safe. GM crops chosen to be eaten are checked for possible dangers by multiple agencies. You are at the same risk whether you are eating GM crops or non-GM crops. The FDA stated, the FDA regulates the safety of food for humans and animals, including foods produced from genetically engineered or GE plants. Foods from GE plants must meet the same food safety requirements as food derived from traditionally bred plants. There are some problems with genetically engineered crops. For the pesticide industry, GE crops are where the money is at. Over 90% of all cash crops in the United States are herbicide resistant, mostly to glyphosate. It is far less harmful to humans as other herbicides, but this means farmers have a far stronger incentive to rely on this method only. Much of the criticism from GE crops are more about modern agriculture, like animal cruelty to cows and so on, and the business practices of huge corporations who control our food supply. What's in our future? We need to change agriculture into more sustainable practices. GM crops and technology are not the enemy and actually an ally in this fight, helping to save the environment. Trying to create plants that are more resistant to climate change and drastic weather changes like droughts or floods can help improve and protect the environment. The world eats over 11 million pounds of food a day. The UN estimates that we will need 70% more food by 2050. We could grow that food by clearing more forests to create more pastures and use more pesticides, or we can find a way to do it on the land that we have right now with the help of GM crops. GMOs could become the new organic and could be the most powerful weapon to save our planet.